Now, I've been a clerk for a while, and it's not as if I haven't heard all the stories about High Magistrate Smith Sangmin and his legendary temper, but I always figured they were an exaggeration, especially after I met him for the first time. The man seemed like the absolute model of a gentleman, and rather calm and unemotional. I'm not criticizing him, I just never imagined that man getting angry. It was while an official was presenting the facts of a murder case to him. A drunken brawl between peasants gone horribly wrong. It all seemed satisfactory enough. A dozen men had seen it. There wasn't really any doubt about it. So far, so good. Very well, the High Magistrate said. Let me read the confession, then, before I pass the sentence. The official didn't have one, which is reasonable enough. A lot of times you can't get it out of them, and I've never seen a magistrate who was really all too concerned about those little details. Excuse me, you don't have a confession, he said, and his mood soured right there. Why are you wasting my time, then? He looked at the accused, who had been kowtowing silently up until that point. Do you even admit to killing him? The murderer seemed confused, and it took a minute to realize he was being addressed. Furthermore, when he did figure it out, he simply kept mumbling, not my fault, wasn't my fault, and such. The High Magistrate was furious. What is wrong with you? What is this man doing in front of me, in a state like that? He doesn't admit to doing it. What do you expect me to do? He demanded. After some silence from the official, he continued. It wasn't a rhetorical question. Please, enlighten me. What do you expect me to do here? To punish him, the official finally offered, weakly, as confused about the matter as I was. Punish him? This was what set him completely off the edge. He stood up shouting, We are not given the responsibility of punishment. What are we, barbarians looking for vengeance? The point of justice is to teach immoral men like him the error of their ways, he lectured, shouting at the top of his lungs. And how do you expect to do that with a man who won't even admit his own actions? Does this man look like he's ready to learn? Do you seriously believe that? Are you simple? The official looked as though he was about to argue, but... Then thought against it. Smart move. The High Magistrate continued, more calmly. Now stop wasting my time and get him out of my office. Come back when you have a confession and a clue as to what your job actually entails. And with that, he left, leaving the official speechless, and leaving me realizing that perhaps a legendary temper and being a model gentleman weren't quite so mutually exclusive as I had thought.
Ooh. Again? Why does it keep saying it? Honey, if you don't have something to say, just say that. Like, or don't say anything.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. As horrible it is to say, I don't think anyone was really surprised when brother-in-law Sang Jun was found dead. Nobody has Tao, nor has anyone as so much as mentioned the word drinking in my presence since. Even the ordinary extremely candid and mute has been entirely somber. Mother-in-law, I understand she's been taking it so hard and must have been working hard to stay well out of her way of the funeral preparations being settled. But mute, I had no idea they were so close. In our last conversation, I could have sworn she was on the verge of tears. I had never seen such a reaction from her in all my time here. As for myself, I have an awful confession to make to no one. I have to put on a somber face, acting as though I'm sad at the rest, since that is, of course, what is to be expected, but it pains me to admit that I'm not. It's not as if I don't find it tragic, I just feel bad for thinking this, but I don't know him at all. How could I possibly bring myself to feel upset as I am expected to be?
Well, you've seen pretty much everything in the Smith family now. I'm still just parsing this all myself. You know, most of it's new to me, too.
You silly girl.
I mean, when I was alive, I didn't even know the Smith family existed. Well, maybe Zhehua mentioned them once. I don't really remember. It's been 600 years. But I don't think she did. I really wish I'd known about Sojin at the time. I really, really do. So, what do you think? Are you satisfied with that overview?
Yes. Although I want more drama.
Oh, well, that's good. So, what do you think of them then?
Oh no.
What did Kyung Sam say?
Kyung Sam, I think, just said they were drunks and disrespectful and they didn't deserve to be noble. And then they're pitiful, I think, doesn't mean in a bad way in this situation. I think it says that they're creatures that deserve pity.
Yeah, I'd go with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yes, we were right!
My family considered them political enemies, and the men were always so insistent on our family taking their place, to the point where, well, you know.
Clearly.
It just seems to me, though, that the men destroyed themselves and dragged women like poor Sojin with them. And I don't understand how Mew plays in at all. That's the weird thing to me. Still, though, what an awful marriage Sojin had. I feel so bad for her, to be thrown away and forgotten like that. You know, though, in a sort of perverse way, I feel a bit relieved to read another story like hers. Just so I know it's not just me. A reminder that it's not just because I was from another time. It would have sucked even if I was born in that period. Does that sound bad to you?
Nope.
Oh, really? Well, thank you for saying that. I'm so happy you understand.
And totes get it. So much to the fact I had to say totes.
Anyway, I suppose that's all. Thanks for indulging me in going through their story, though. I really learned a lot just now.
As did we.
I won't waste your time with any more babbling. Shall we get back to wherever we were talking about before? Whatever we were talking about before. Yeah.
Sure. That sounds...
I think it was the same thing. That's the only thing it was.
Okay. Morning dress and several trials. Bride's adolescence. There should be some super dramatic, juicy ones. I think we're missing...
These questions?
We're missing a block.
Did we ever ask Mew's questions, by the way?
No, we didn't. How are you doing?
What is this? You talk to Mew?
Yeah, she's dead now, probably. Well, or sleeping. I don't know. We put her in our flash drive, too, so you guys can be buddies.
I don't know what she told you, but you really shouldn't listen to her. All she ever did was gossip, and I'm certain she hasn't changed a bit since back then.
I don't know, she's been pretty awesome to me.
Please, don't trust her. She just spins everything to make everyone look bad, no matter what.
Seem defensive there.
Please, promise?
Okay.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. At least you give me a fair chance. Well, if you show me one of her questions, I'll tell you the truth, but I don't think it's what she'll expect.
It probably is, considering she said if you give her the questions, she'll tell you the truth.
Wait, go back to how you were doing. There's still more there.
How are you doing?
Well,
yes, to be very honest.
Nervous. I'm really, really nervous.
Aww.
It's just, you're the first person I've talked to in so long. I'm really happy about that. But, well, I'm exposing a lot. I know you promised to trust me and all, so thanks. It's just, this is all really new to me.
I know, even back when you were alive, you didn't really talk much.
But it's good. I'm glad. I wouldn't be so nervous if I wasn't happy you were there to listen.
By the way, just gonna point this out, you know how I made a comment about things like words changing and I thought it was just my imagination? It wasn't. She was changing.
What?
She changes the text sometimes when you're reading it.
How do you feel about me?
Doing it.
Wow, there's a tough question.
Okay, I'm gonna expect an edit here, so let's look out.
I mean... What do you think she was typing before?
I think I'm in love.
I mean, you seem like a really good person. I think I could call you a friend.
I think I'm in love with you.
You seem to be a really good listener. I like that.
Die. She looks so adorable in that doctor getup.
I know. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, good. Not that I really understand why Mew was asking.
She wanted us to get up close. No.
No. I am kind of curious about that. Well, about a few thousand lines of assembly code and a few gigabytes of memory, I suppose, sitting on a hard drive somewhere. I don't really know what that looks like.
Oh, so much sass, honey.
Oh, I guess you actually meant before I died, didn't you? Well, I was 13 years old when I woke up, then 16 when I died. So, well, I look younger, but I wasn't really all that different, just shorter. And I guess some smaller in other places too. Everyone always did say I was pretty though, even when I was really young. So just, I guess, picture a shorter version of me without the glasses, and with my hair in some dumb braid or another, in a hanbok. And that's pretty much it. I never really got to dress up the way I wanted to.
Aww. Now you can.
This is the first time I've been able to wear my school uniform since I was 13, before I got put in stasis. How silly is that, being excited about wearing a uniform? And I mean, you know how much I was into cosplay. I never really had a chance for that when I was alive.
Yeah.
Why do you even ask? What are you thinking?
I think I'm gonna have to go with this one.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Anyway, we should really get back to the more serious stuff, don't you think?
Oh, but this stuff's the best stuff. Well, you know that.
Let's do it anyways!
Why? Then she won't think we're listening to her.
No, different text stuff. Different stuff we can see. She doesn't know the order we do this stuff.
Well, no, because she knew. She knows that we know. Like,
Fine.
it came up in the text.
Fine.
I'm not doing it. How do you feel about mute?
Oh, of course. Of course that'd be one of her questions. Well, let me put it... Do you have anything nice to say about me?
Did she have anything nice?
Yeah.
Yes.
She have anything nice, sorry. Oh, really? Maybe I was wrong about her then.
Hehe.
Really, I don't know much about her, other than what I've read in other people's logs. She never talked to me, ever. I mean, she wasn't about talking about me, but no, never anything to me. That's all I knew about her. She's a gossip. I want to speak to her now.
See, now, while Mute was incredibly cruel and called her a crazy bitch and a murderous whatever, she did say some nice things.
Yep.
So it wasn't entirely lying. No.
Nope.
Oh.
I hope she doesn't take this wrong.
Oh, please don't.
After waking up from stasis, I only ever had one single friend. It's good, it's taking it good. Oh, two, I meant. No, you're here.
Poor legs, please don't break. There we go, that's probably a bit noisy.
Anyway, before, it was just her. The queen, my husband's wife, Ryu Jaehua. I wrote about her a lot in my diary. I'll just show you. It's probably better if you read it or yourself.
Or you can just tell me.
These are from right after I got married.
We already read the marriage things, right? I think so.
We kind of do.
We have to.
Yeah.
Are you prepared?
I
I'm gonna take your choppy words as a yes.
Look, there's something you need to understand first.
Okay.
After waking up from stasis, I only ever had one single friend.
Okay.
Oh, two, I meant. Now that you're here.
We've gone through this before, honey.
Anyway, before it was just her.
Yes.
The queen, my husband's wife, blah blah.
Seriously, honey, we got this. Pick up the pace.
Blah blah.
Yes.
Blah,
Yes. What?
Blah.
What?
We have to read those first.
I guess apparently those give us the answer. Why can't you just tell us? Ah, look, there's a new block.
Yeah.
Was it 10 or 6 is the new one? Click 10. Click 10! Thank you. Oh, we did not read them. Okay, you guys can just pause on this to read it yourself. It's basically just telling what women were supposed to do. Okay.
I never read her letters at the time. I couldn't. I know she read them to me eventually, but I was just numb to that sort of talk at that point. Now they're just hard for me to read.
Yeah, because she was being nice. And you killed her. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Let me know. I have a glare on my screen, so if the message indicator pops up, I probably won't notice.
I'll let you know.
Thank you. Yes, we understand. There's a woman that will marry your husband, and you are trying to tell her many things. Just make him happy. If you're scolded, it's all in love. It's all for love. And I can't sing that song. And it's not entirely just because I don't know the words. Okay, it's mostly because I don't know the words. My cat's a bitch. Oh hey, this is new. And it's the wife. My fear of the pale bride, it seems, was unfounded. In my letters to her I wrote that I was not jealous. A lie, of course. As queen, it is true that I have the authority over any of my husband's wives, but the authority does certainly not extend to his affections. Especially since she is a beautiful woman, only 15 years, and I am a withered old lady of 20 years her senior. I would be a fool not to be jealous. And yet I am not. Until she officially married my husband, I had only seen her briefly, at formal interview. Aside from her beauty, she made hardly any impression. Now she's living in my house, and I have seen more of her while she is not busy attending the emperor. And I realize now I have no cause for jealousy, and that is any fault of hers. She hasn't spoken a single word to me, and only looks at me from distance. At first, I mistook this for arrogance, as though she thought me unworthy of approaching. I realized soon this is not so. I see no smugness in her eyes, nor do I see happiness, nor sadness, nor anything else. She is afraid of me. Not the sort of fear that would show in the eyes, the sort of fear that would paralyze her or leave her on edge. It's hardly noticeable at all, and yet I can tell. Her fear is that of resignation, the sort of fear where one simply waits for one believes is inevitable. Whatever it is she thinks I will do to her, she is not afraid that I will be jealous. She knows it, and is simply waiting for the consequences. I cannot be a jealous woman of a woman like that. I feel for her. I want her to feel welcome. I want to give her the hope she has clearly lost back. It's not out of jealousy that I say and earnestly want her to understand how lucky she is. When I last saw her, I took her aside and said, "Please, you do not have to fear me. If you ever wish to talk to me, please do find me." She said nothing, but she did smile a little. I have seen her smile before, but only in a hollow way, where her mouth moves but no emotion stirs in her eyes. This was not that kind. I can hardly say that the twinkle in her eyes meant, but at least I don't think it was resignation. I do hope she talks to me soon, for her own sake.